Hello, this is Dr. Howard coming to you again, trying to support you with vocabulary, reading, and comprehension understanding. So, we are going to read a story called An Unforgettable Trip to Vietnam. The word unforgettable has a prefix. In is a prefix mean not. Something that you cannot remember, that you don't want to forget. It's not you're going to forget. So, I had a great time at my friend's house last month. This is something that I can remember for a long time, so I can say unforgettable, something that you cannot and will not, or try not to forget. Sometimes you might have great experience or bad experiences. So those something that is extremely great or extremely bad, something that you cannot erase from your head, is called unforgettable. So unforgettable is a title, a name. My name is Howard. Your name is Duck. Your name is Nyut or Nyung or Phi. Whatever your name is. Your name is your title. A story has a name. So a story has a name, and the name is called title. The title or the title of this story is called An Unforgettable Trip to Vietnam. So let's begin our reading. Duck, Hong, Vin, Tatiana, Juliana, Johnny, Yana, and Ngan went to a wedding last month in Vietnam. The friends flew Vietnam Air to Vietnam, which is a country in Asia, from Atlanta, Georgia, which is one of the 50 states in the United States of America. After traveling for over 24 hours, the tourists finally arrived at Tân Sơn Nhất International Airport, a landmark in Vietnam. Duck, who used to live in Vietnam and has relatives there, called his family to pick them up. Duck's family came and drove the friends to a hotel. As they were getting off, they saw a groom and a bride riding a bicycle together. "What in the world is this?" asked Hong. "I think they want something different," said Vin. After watching the bride and groom riding by, they went inside of Duck's flat, which is another word for apartment. Duck's family invited them to eat dinner because it was about 8 in the evening. While they were eating dinner, Tatiana, Juliana, and Johnny spilled soup on their shirts. They were trying to eat soup with chopsticks. This was their first time for them. "Try to relax and be informal," said Nan. "We are family now, so feel comfortable," said Duck, who has many positive characteristics, such as being gentle, patient, and kind. While they were not disappointed, they felt a little strain about spilling soup and eating soup with chopsticks. Before going to bed and preparing for a wonderful journey the next day, Duck took his friends to a night outing, drinking Trung Nguyen's coffee, which is a famous coffee trademark in Vietnam. The tourists truly enjoyed their amazing journey in Vietnam. So these are some words that I highlight. For example, landmark. Now, landmark. Mark is something that you can mark. Okay? Like for example, you want to go shopping or you want to do something, you write it down and you put a mark so you can remember. So land and mark. This is a compound word. Compound means you have land plus mark put together make a new word. So a landmark is a place that many people know, a famous place like Washington D.C. That's a landmark in the United States of America. Now, a groom and a bride. What is a groom? Is it a female or male? Man or he or she? So groom is normally a gentleman, a man. who is 18 years old or above and trying to marry a lady. On the opposite, you have a bride who is a lady above 18 years old and trying to get married with her partner, which is a man. So groom and bride. Now, flat. Flat means apartment. So in British English, some people use the word flat, but in American English, we often use the word apartment. So chopsticks. Chopstick is a tool that is very famous in Asian country. So I have two sticks here, two. So if I use this and to grab things, okay, I can use this to grab things. So this is called a chopstick. So chopstick is something that I can use to hold things. So this is a chopstick. It's a tool for eating, okay? So chopsticks. Now, they're trying to be informal. How do you know they're trying to be informal? Well, someone said we're trying to relax. Don't be so stressed. Don't feel so awkward. Just be normal, be informal. Don't worry about anything. So that's informal. Now, positive. Positive means good. Positive characteristic. Let's say you go into the mall and you meet a man. The man is very tall. His hair is brown. He got dark complexion. These are his characteristics. These are his traits. These are his qualities. Something about that person we call characteristics. Okay? Let's say you saw a vehicle, a car. The car has brown color. The car is big. The car is fast. The car looks very beautiful. So the characteristic of the car include beautiful, brown, fast. Disappointed. If you feel disappointed, you feel angry. So disappointed has a prefix, this. This means not. When you are disappointed, you become very angry, okay? Disappointed. Spilling. So I'm drinking coffee. So I want to drink my coffee, but I have to be careful so the coffee won't spill to the ground. So that's spilling, okay? Now, then the next word is called trademark. So like for example, Starbucks, that is a famous company. We say trademark. Can you name another trademark? What's the name of the shoes that many people wear? Nike, Adidas. So these are called trademark. Trademark is a name of a brand that people register for their business. You can register your name if you want to. Like for example, in America we have Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan is very smart. He makes his shoes called Jordan. So his shoes are his trademark. Okay, so that's the story. Okay, now so let's see if you can read the story. Okay, so let's see if you can answer the question here. Okay, so let's see if we can answer the question. Now, where did the tourist go? Where did the tourist go? If you say, when did the tourist go on this trip? When? How did the tourist get to Vietnam? According to the story, what landmark did the tourist see? Who did the tourist see riding on a bicycle? Who did the tourist, okay, I forgot the word tourist. Who did the tourist see riding on a bicycle? What kind of housing does Duck's family have? Housing. What kind of housing? What was the first thing the tourists did when they got to Duck's flat? Now remember, flat. If you are mad, you can be blank. Use the word from the story. What is the name of the famous coffee trademark mentioned in the story? According to the story, who has many characteristics, like being kind and gentle. When you are gentle, you are soft, you don't talk loud, you don't scream, you're being very relaxed. Why did Tatiana, Juliana, and Johnny feel strange, feel weird, feel awkward, feel uncomfortable? How did the students or the tourists feel about the trip? These are my students, so I use their name in the story, so I often refer them to the student, even though in this story they are tourists. Okay, so how did the tourists feel about the trip? So let me get you back to here now. See here? Take a picture of this and see if you can answer it. Answer it, okay? Now, where did the tourists go? When did the tourists go on the trip? How did the tourists get to Vietnam? According to the story, what did the tourists see? Who did the tourists ride on a bicycle? What kind of housing does Duck's family have? What was the first thing the tourists did when they got to Duck's flat? If you are mad, you can be blank. Use the word from the story. What is the name of the famous coffee trademark mentioned in the story? According to the story, who has many characteristics like being kind and gentle? Why did Tatiana and Juliana, Johnny feel strange? How did the students feel about the trip? Now, go back to the story and find a keyword. Where? Where did they go? So you might not see the word go, but you might see the word traveled or went. Where did the tourists go? Again, when and where? Location, time. How? How? What tool? How did they get there? Okay? What kind of method did they get there? From the story, what landmark? See, the word is landmark. It has to be a land, something related to land. Who did they see riding on a bicycle? I'm riding on a bicycle. I'm riding on a bicycle. The first thing the tourists did when they got to Duck Flat. The keyword here is mad. The keyword here is famous coffee trademark. The keyword here is characteristic. Look for the characteristic. The keyword here is strange. Why did they feel strange? Now, this one right here is about how. How did they feel? You are not going to find the answer in the story. You have to look at the whole story and look at the attitude of the characters in the story and come up with your own answer. Be able to tell how. You can use evidence, keywords from the story to support your answer. Okay? If you say Vietnam, you are correct. They went to Vietnam. If you say last month, you are correct because it's time. Well, they flew Vietnamese to Vietnam. Okay? Well, this is a landmark. So landmark here, what did they see? Well, they flew from the United States to Vietnam. So the first thing they see is Tân Sơn Nhất International Airport. And this airport has been there for many years. So who did they see? A bride and a groom. Remember? What kind of housing? The keyword is housing. Okay, housing doesn't mean I live in a house. Housing means shelter, a place where you can live. So they live in a flat. What was the first thing they did when they got to Duck's house? So you remember the story? The family invited them to eat. Okay? Mad. If you are mad, you are disappointed. You can be disappointed. Okay? The famous coffee trademark in Vietnam is called Trung Nguyên. Okay? Even though we are in America, even though we are in Australia or other countries, we can have Trung Nguyên coffee. It's an international brand. Why did Tatiana, Johnny feel strange? Well, remember they were eating and this was the first time for them, so they're trying to experience different things. So they're eating soup with chopsticks, okay? So they were using chopsticks to eat soup and spilled the soup. That's how they feel strength. So again, you have to look at the evidence. They felt great. How did they feel? They feel amazing. They feel fantastic. Why? They had a great time. At the end of the story, the evidence from the story show that, okay? So I hope I was able to help you with understanding how to read, how to find evidence for my story, to read and be able to understand, okay? This is Dr. Howard.